Hello and welcome to Hoffman's Hot Seat. I'm Tom Hoffman with One-to-One Media, and joining me today is Tony Compton, Director of CRM Product Marketing at Infor. Tony, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So today we'll be discussing trends around customers' use of business intelligence tools. Tony, as you know, C-level executives and line of business leaders often ask to have digital dashboards built for them in order to allow them to track daily or weekly sales, regional performance measures, and things of that nature. However, many CIOs often say that these dashboards are lightly used once they become operational. Does this map with what your customers are telling you with respect to the use of CRM-type dashboards?
It does, Tom. You hear it, I hear it, and I can speak from experience. You can't blame the CIOs for saying what they're saying. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to put together a creative, innovative, and meaningful dashboard. And the audiences that the CIOs serve internally can be very demanding, of course. They can range from, as you mentioned, C-level executives looking for insights into the business unit leaders, sales leaders, marketing leaders, all sorts of different executives looking for insight into the business, and they have this appetite for the data presented in a format that they can use. And so the CIO has to bridge that gap among the constituents within the organization and produce a dashboard that's meaningful. Now, on the other side, you can't blame these executives for asking for those dashboards because they're in a quick-paced business, and what they're doing demands rapid insight into what's happening on a day-to-day, sometimes hour-by-hour snapshot of what's happening out there, and they're looking for useful and valuable information captured in this dashboard, and they want that at their fingertips. So you can't blame the CIOs for saying what they're saying, and you certainly can't blame the end users for saying what they're saying. But at the end of the day, sometimes these dashboards, you take a quick look, it's a snapshot, and then you go on. And sometimes that message conveyed to the CIOs is that, well, maybe this isn't being used as often as I'd like it to be used. And sometimes the expiration date on these dashboards is quick. The world is changing underneath our feet every day. And when we're in the business of sales and marketing and customer relationship management, we know that the data makes everything all go. And when the data change, when our perspective of the world changes, these dashboards change. And so sometimes they have a short shelf life. And as these dashboards are created, there's a lot of time and energy and input that goes into this, but sometimes the usage isn't there the way that the CIOs would like. Sometimes that the dashboard almost looks like a scoreboard that it's looked at, it's glanced at, and people move on. And so the perception of value may not be there robust as we would like to see it. So my suggestion is to collaborate with the end users and understand the formats that they're looking for, because ultimately it's one thing to have this dashboard, but typically a dashboard is going to have residual usage, and the dashboard beginning is that central point where the users begin to capture this information, but ultimately they have to turn around and present that information to other audiences. And it's that usage of the dashboard and communicating the facts and figures to other audiences where the real value is in play. But it all begins with how the CIO constructs this dashboard, the teams that construct dashboards, and are they accurately capturing what the end user wants out of that dashboard.
Okay, thanks. What are some other trends that you're seeing with respect to data usage in some of the industries that Infor supports?
Everything that we're seeing out there, by every temperature taking of all the audiences, that data is not being used the way that it should be. Story after story, anecdotal story after anecdotal story, and the trend just goes on and on and on. What we see is the data that resides out there is not being used the way that it should be used. And chief marketing officers, those that are running CRM programs, readily admit that they don't have great insight into the data. They have siloed data sources, limited in their usage, inaccessible, not aligned with other areas of the business. So then if the data not being utilized the way it should be utilized, now we're starting off on the wrong foot. And without good current data, everything else begins to fall apart. So one, make sure that the data is current and is used and is accessible and shared across the organization. When you have that, then you can begin to build on top of that the systems that you need in place to turn that data to your advantage. Today, in the world of customer relationship management, it's a new world. The economy, slowly recovering, coming out of this recession, has presented us with an influence economy. That means we need to know what we know about our customers and the marketplace. This industry is notorious for making business decisions based on what we think our customers will do or how we feel the market will react. And unfortunately, the endless resources at the disposal of marketers, that's all gone. With tight economy and with tight budgets and with tight resources, we have to make the most out of what we know about our customers and what we know about the marketplace. And when we know what we know, then we can take action. And that all resides in understanding and utilize the data that we have at our disposal. We have more data about our customers in the marketplace than we've ever had before in the history of mankind. And so it's incumbent upon those that are in charge of that data to utilize it properly to get the most out of it. And those that do that will separate themselves from the rest of the business field.
Customers also seem to be increasingly demanding real-time CRM systems. What are some of the most common business process or data quality improvements that customers need to address in order to best optimize their effectiveness?
Well, having that data that allows them to consistently take the next best step in front of their customers, no matter which channel the customer uses to interact with that organization, is the key. We're living in a dynamic world, and we have come to realize in the last year or two or three that non-traditional forms of customer interaction, of customer relationship management, of marketing and having that dialogue with the customer, the non-traditional channels are ultimately becoming much more effective than the traditional forms of customer and marketing communication. So by understanding who our customers are, understanding the channels that they prefer to use when they interact with an organization, and then understanding their propensity models, having that data at every customer touch point allows the organization to always take that next best step with the customer. And it's going to have several residual impacts. One is the customer will enjoy that experience. Number two, the person who is delivering that customer experience, be it a call center agent or somebody on the front lines at a retail or a bank branch who is live in person with that customer, they're going to feel better about what they're doing. Their productivity will increase, their morale will increase, turnover as a result will decrease because these customer-facing agents enjoy what they do. And if you put in front of them the systems and the tools in place to utilize the data to ultimately have a great customer experience, always taking that next best step in front of the customer because we know who they are and their propensity for interacting with us, then everybody wins, and it's going to increase customer loyalty and deliver more profitable experiences.
Great. Well, Tony, thanks so much for sharing these insights with me around the whole BI space.
You're welcome. Thank you.
To learn more about relationship strategy, visit www.one-to-onemedia.com.